Priscilla Ross, and I am the Executive Director at Cooley Dickinson VNA and Hospice. One of the things I love about Cooley is that it is a community hospital and it feels like a community. There's so much caring at Cooley that I haven't experienced at other places where I've worked, even smaller places and larger places. And that community of caring, especially in the past year, allows us as caregivers to put ourselves out there for our patients or our staff, but then we have the support of our community of peers to hold us up when things get really hard. And I think it's unique to Cooley. I really do. It's remarkable the way we look out for one another. In home care, you have a caseload of patients, and you can think of it in many different ways. You can think of it as your own little mini business within a business, where you have your caseload and you have to manage them the best you can, and you're responsible for their outcomes, but you work with a team, so you're not alone. You make your visits alone generally, although you can, we often do joint visits with other disciplines. So the skill set that you need to be in home care is you have to be, first of all, very strong in your clinical skills, because you, again, you're by yourself in the home. You have to be able to think on your feet, because you might not have that Hoyer lift down the hall, and you may need to improvise in the home ways to help the patients cope with their illness or open their can of soup. And so you really need to be able to think on your feet, be resourceful, be able to provide your own structure in a day, and love going out into patients' homes. Be willing to meet the patients where they are and walk in the door without the expectation that the patient is going to be doing exactly what you expect them to be doing. You have to get there, see what's going on in that household, and then make your plan with the patient and the physician from there. So you need to have confidence and insight, compassion, and sometimes you have to be a little firm and be willing to be creative in your solutions. It's a great job. I love it. So we provide all of the equipment that might be needed to take care of a patient in the home. The typical medical supplies and blood pressure cuff and stethoscope, those sorts of things. But you also will have a smartphone. We use iPhones, and that provides a means for secure communication with your colleagues and your peers, and back to the home office. You'll get a laptop computer, which you take into the patient's home and learn to incorporate that into the visit, because documenting what we do is so important. And then we will provide you with support. So there are every other week there are meetings with your clinical team, and you discuss your patients. You discuss your patients with your manager in case conferences. And there's always a clinical ladder of escalation that can be followed in the event that there are things that you're not comfortable with, or you're not sure about, or it's a particularly complex social situation. We're always working side by side with the doctors. We follow doctors' orders, so you're always in communication with the physician. So we provide you the physical tools to do your job, but we also provide a means to discuss your cases and troubleshoot and get support from your peers. So when COVID first hit, we were already, in some ways we were fortunate, because our staff, 2/3 of our staff were already remote. They provide care out in the field. They had the tools they needed, and the only difference for them really in terms of process besides infection control, was that they didn't come into the office for meetings. And they actually, in some ways, that is better. It's more convenient. They don't have to drive. So there was a combination of keeping things just as they were, just in a different format. So we kept on with our every other week meetings, our case conferences, our multidisciplinary team meetings. But then we added layers if people needed them. Home care and hospice are my passion. And I would say that for most of the people who work in home care and hospice here at Cooley, it is their passion as well. It's a unique job where you get to be yourself and you get to see your patients when they get to be themselves. The rewards are tremendous. It's just such a privilege to be able to go into a patient's home and help them in a way that allows them to continue their life as much in the way that they want to as they can, and to help them succeed in managing their disease process or illness, and to help the families support them. And that sense of privilege and honor, I feel every single person in this agency, even those who don't go into the homes, the people who are supporting our staff, they feel that, and that's why they come into work every day. And it's a privilege to be able to lead them.